So, welcome everybody to our May Culture Meet. It's brilliant to see you all here, and we're really happy to have some wonderful arts organisations from around Nottingham here to update teachers, primary teachers in Nottingham, all about the fantastic work that they're doing, and how you can connect with them. I'm going to just quickly run through a couple of things about the primary Culture Meet and why we gather. Some of you will already have seen this, but it's really just to reiterate that we're here to make discoveries. Usually after a culture meet, I get lovely emails from people that are really excited to have made new connections, and things will spark following these conversations. So it's great to hear afterwards all the things that you do. So keep us in touch with the sort of projects and partnerships that develop following culture meets. And it's an opportunity too for our arts organisations that are developing programmes to ask questions of teachers, to co-design wherever possible, and to learn and share together. And obviously it's all about collaboration at the end of the day, how we can make things happen, take risks and see what comes through. So a few more people are just entering the room. So if I welcome Shanine, it's good to see you too. So one of the things that we do, obviously our work with schools is all based on the Cultural Rucksack programme that Martin has been developing over the last couple of years, and that is now being taken forward by Victoria, our schools partnerships coordinator. Unfortunately, she's had to send apologies today because she's just started jury duty. So hopefully she won't be gone too long. But I thought I'd share this lovely quote from Professor Chris Hall, who first came up with the idea for the culture meets and the cultural rucksack. So really, it's all about making sure that teachers and arts professionals are working together, and that we have regular opportunities once a term to come together and share the ways in which you can develop opportunities for your students. We're going to go through various inputs from our cultural organisations, starting with Rachel from Wollaton Hall and various others, and I'll get round to everybody, so don't worry. So I think we need to start with Rachel. So Rachel, over at Wollaton Hall, can I come to you for a quick update? And just got 5 minutes, if that's all right. Yeah. And I'll write up notes afterwards as well, so we can share them with everybody that we need to share them with across the city.
Brilliant, thank you. Thanks, Cathy. Yeah, so really quickly in a nutshell, to update you on what's happening with the Willard Wigan exhibition and the outreach work. So the exhibition has opened, has launched, it's absolutely jam-packed. It's been brilliant with really good feedback. So now we're kickstarting the outreach sessions at schools. So I'm just going to run through some keynotes for these sessions. We're looking at the first 6 dates are in June. So we're looking at the 12th, 14th, 19th, 21st, 26th and 28th of June. I'll send these dates out. I'll send all this out electronically, so don't worry if you didn't get those. We're looking for 6 primary schools, or 6 schools. Now, the format that I'm just about to go through is incredibly flexible. So if it doesn't fit your school per se, then that's fine. Still complete the form, still apply if you want to have the outreach session at your school, and we'll work with you on making it work. So what we've discussed so far is that at each school we'd spend a whole day with each school. We'd split it into 2 halves. We'd have Key Stage 1 in the morning, Key Stage 2 in the afternoon. The morning session for Key Stage 1 would again be split into 2 halves. So the first half of the morning up until morning break would be where the whole of Key Stage 1 gets to go and meet Willard in the hall. He gives a talk about who he is, his work. He's incredibly inspiring, particularly for children. It's wonderful. And then he talks about his new exhibits, which is called Disappearing World, and about habitat loss. The school children then get a chance to ask him some questions. and then they'll go and have their break. In the second half of the morning, the children will go back to their classrooms, and Willard Wigan will go around each classroom talking to the children, and they'll start to work on a project which is called the Great Big Tiny Disappearing World Design Challenge, which is based on the design show that Willard was judge of, and Andy Toxvig, I think, was presenter of from Channel 4, where rooms were designed for a doll's house. So what we're going to ask each school that participates in the outreach session is that they will design a room for the doll's house, which is at Wollaton Hall at the moment. And the design has to be based on looking at issues around habitat loss. So the disappearing world room. So Willard will go around each class in that second half of the morning, starting to talk to the children about how they can make tiny little sculptures and things to put in their room using Willard's techniques, making lots of tiny things, and all out of recycled materials, and how they want to express themselves regarding the issues around our disappearing world. It will be up to each school how they run that, because what we're asking for is for each school then to come up with a final design that will then be put into a competition to be put, potentially if it wins, into the actual doll's house from that TV show. So that will be the second half of the morning. Now, whilst Willard is going around and visiting each classroom and chatting to them, then the small groups will be taken out by Willard's team to go and look at some of the sculptures that we'll bring to the school. We'll bring at least four or five sculptures in microscopes to the school so children can then go and view them. So they'll be taken out in small groups to do that. So that's the morning. And then the afternoon will be pretty much a repeat, but with Key Stage 2 for the afternoon. So hopefully by the end of the day, every child will have had a chance to engage with Willard. So there are a few things that we would like. Now, just to reiterate, these sessions are completely free. They're all grant funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. So what we'd like in return for the school to participate in is we'd like teachers to attend a CPD session prior to the workshops, just so they're completely familiar with what's going to take place. Can I ask, just generally, what is the best time to run a twilight session? We'd like to run it at Wollaton Hall. Are there any particular better days or times? If we run something from 4 till 5 or 4:30 till 5:30? Anybody please just...
Sarah's saying 4 till 5. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in. Lindsay?
Yeah. 4 till 5, yeah, 4 till 5 generally will work for staff.
Yeah.
I'd say definitely not a Friday.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, which days should we avoid? So definitely not Friday.
Definitely avoid a Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Rachel. Tuesdays tend to be staff meeting nights in lots of schools, so Tuesday. Okay. So maybe not a Tuesday or a Friday.
Not Tuesday or Friday. Brilliant. I'll make a note of that. Fantastic. Thank you. So then also we will also send a link out with a 12-minute film that's been produced specifically for schools. It's actually shown in the exhibition as well, for you to show all the school children prior to Willard coming. We'd also like 10 pre-prepared questions for Willard for the Q&A session, because he just finds that easier, because he struggles, because he's dyslexic, struggles with being passed questions to read spontaneously. So he'd like something pre-prepared, but he has said absolutely fine about children standing up and asking questions on the day. Absolutely fine with that as well. And then if possible, and this is probably quite a big ask, but if we can help, we will. We would love it if all the school children who are participating can come and actually see the exhibition as well, either before or after. Now, I know it's a big ask bringing a whole school to see an exhibition. Probably have to be broken down, and obviously transport is always an issue. So we would certainly, and I'll put this on the forms to complete as well, we'd certainly see if we could help support any transport costs as well for those participating schools. So that's what we're running this summer term, and then we are going to do the same thing again in the autumn term. So there will just be the 12 available sessions. We will try and work with every school that would like to participate. And that's it. And like I said, we'll get all this out in a form for people to submit their interest. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure you'll have lots of interest. So yeah, please do just send it across as soon as you're ready, and we'll get that out there.
Yeah,
does anyone have any questions for Rachel before she has to go?
Rachel, can you just pop your email in the chat? Is that okay?
Yes, of course. I'll do it now.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thanks very much. I'm going to leave once I put my email in. Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Great. Thanks to Rachel from Wollaton Hall. Can I come across to Liz now from Mishmash, please?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I've been in and out. My team's just had an absolute meltdown. So am I now kind of working?
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
Excellent. So I just missed all of what Rachel just said. So did you just want me to give an update on what we've got on offer at the minute?
Yes, please, if you could. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep, that's great. Sorry, totally thrown by the fact that everything stopped working. So for those of you I've not met before, I'm Liz. I run a music production company called Mishmash Productions. That's my spaniel who's just come into the room. So at Mishmash, we're based in Beeston, just outside Nottingham, and our work is all around providing warm and welcoming experiences of classical music and jazz for young audiences. So rather than, we're not venue based, so we don't have a year-round offer. We have touring projects that come in and out over the year. We've got a touring project coming to the Nottingham Chamber Music Festival on Monday, the 17th of July, which is a wind quintet for Key Stage 2 audiences. That's organised by Carmen at the Nottingham Chamber Music Festival, and she will be contacting schools. That performance on the Mondays is all for schools. So if anybody's interested in bringing their school group to that, if you drop me a line, I can liaise with Carmen and find out how she's recruiting schools to that. That will be at the theatre on the Nottingham Girls High School campus, just behind the Arboretum. So it's nice and central to town, and very central for tram links as well. So that's one touring project we've got coming up in July. Then we've got another touring project coming up in the autumn, which is coming to the lovely Lakeside Arts, care of Rachel and her colleagues. So that's another piece for Key Stage 2 audiences called String, which is a theatrical presentation of the string quartet. Like all of our projects, they're basically concerts, but they're just concerts that are very much audience focused and developed through the eyes of the children that we're trying to attract, rather than your kind of standard classical chamber music offer. I'm trying to remember the date of that off the top of my head. I think it's right. I think it's the 28th of October, but when I dig out the date, I'll put that in the chat. And then the last thing we've got on offer is a little way away. It's next February, when we're working with the Archway Trust and Genogly City Academy and Kathy to bring a really groundbreaking piece for Key Stage 3, 4 and 5 students, a collaboration with the Scottish Ensemble, which is a theatrical piece of contemporary classical string music made specifically for teenagers. And there's very, very little in this genre made for a teenage audience. So we're bringing that to the city. And there's been so much interest. I think we're going to do 3 dates in the city. So one at Genogly, one at Archway and one at Nottingham Trent University. So that's coming our way as well. This is my thinking phase. I think in terms of our touring offer, that's what we've got on the cards. I'm always interested to hear from schools who might want to explore kind of one-off new collaborations or productions. We're very much hoping to restart our musician in residence project with Ginogly Strelly Primary in the autumn, but that's subject to a funding bit to Paul Hamlin Foundation. But our ensemble in residence project is a project that brings musicians into a school for a day a week, 30 weeks of the year. If any of you are as old as me and remember creative partnerships, Martin definitely does, then it's like the old creative partnerships model of embedding professional artists within a school environment, and it's using music as a vehicle to help the school with all kinds of priorities, from vulnerable learners to mindfulness and well-being, to the maths curriculum, to the Key Stage 2 English curriculum, and the results from that have been fabulous. So I'm always interested in talking to schools who might be interested in collaborating in that way. Is that kind of it, Kathy? Have I forgotten anything?
No, I think that's brilliant. If you could just add your email to the chat. I think Lindsay's asking for it from Transform Trust Schools.
Do you want me just to say a word about Artsmark?
Yes, please do.
So just switching hats, I also am doing some work on behalf of the Mighty Creatives, supporting the Artsmark scheme for schools in the city in the south of Nottinghamshire. So Artsmark is the only creative kite mark, kind of nationally recognised creative kite mark. Loads of our wonderful primary schools are already engaging with the programme, and I know there's lots of you kind of going through it at the moment. You might be aware that the Mighty Creatives contract to support Artsmark is only carrying on until the end of this term. So after the end of this term, the Artsmark support for schools will be provided by a central provider, nationally, I mean, and we have absolutely no idea who that's going to be or how that's going to work. But for the rest of the summer term, I'm still around to support schools wanting support with your statement of impact, or if you're just interested in finding out more about the programme. So I'll put my email and those dates in the chat. Anything else?
Any questions for Liz from anyone? No, that's brilliant. Well, thanks, Liz. That's fantastic. Really appreciate you.
I'll stick around for a little bit. I don't need to
Okay.
take the boys to the dentist for another half an hour.
Perfect.
All right.
That's great. Thank you. Now then, next on the list is Rachel from Lakeside.
Hello.
Hi, Rachel.
I'm just going to put in a link in the chat. So hi, I'm from the Lakeside, and I want to say, just listening to Aaron though, I'm gutted because we have got some free CPD session next Tuesday, and unfortunately it's fallen on a Tuesday, and that's just because that's when my artists are free. But it's going to be a really amazing session. So I do really recommend, if any of your support staff, if it can't be your main teachers, do come along. They are practical sessions. I have two artists working with me, lovely Elaine Winters and also Jane Stockley. We are using our lovely exhibition called Rhythm and Geometry to kind of use that as an inspiration to kind of start thinking about creativity in the classroom. Loads of stuff for you to take away, some lovely top tips, but more importantly, a really hands-on session, practical arts session, so looking at visual arts and literacy in a really interesting way. So if anybody is available to send staff, we would love to have you, and lots of team and dirty biscuits. So as always, worth. So it's a 4 till 6. I'll see if I can. I do have a poster. If I can't put it in the chat, I'll hopefully Kathy can circulate it after for me. That'll be amazing. So other things coming up, summer, we have got an immersive, interactive exhibition happening in our gallery. It's going to be called Enchanted Forest. It's been made by local digital projectionist called Barrett Hodgkinson. And it's a bit like, I suppose, if you've ever seen some of the Van Gogh stuff where you kind of, it's quite immersive, it's going to be very much like that. Much more of a slightly psychedelic, abstract forest for you to interact with. All the activities that we'll be doing alongside that are free, but that probably won't go live until the very start of August. So it's really for your parents and family members that'd like to come over the summer and have a free activity to do. There's going to be loads of things happening with there. We'll also have the Nottingham Schools Trust exhibition, Creative Pavements, up at the same time. So there'll be lots of wraparounds happening over that. And then the last thing from me, I think, I'm looking for schools that might like to work with me on our Christmas exhibition. We have got our Christmas show this year is The Boy That Cried Wolf. And it's a really fun, lovely 1 hour show. It's very interactive. And so I'm looking for schools that like to have a little opportunity to create part of our lovely children's installation. So, and this year I'll have a theme of like knit and natter. So I'm trying to get a cross-generational project happening where I bring in some lovely knitters to come into school and teach the children how to knit and make. So if any school are interested in getting involved in that, I'll put my email in and you can drop me a line and see if we can make that happen. So that's really exciting. So I think that's it from me, Kathy. Nice and
Amazing.
short today.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Rachel. All those things sound wonderful, and I'm sure you'll get lots of takers. I'll do a sharing out, and please put the info in the chat as well so people know how to get in touch with you. Brilliant. Thank you. So can I come to Charlotte, please? Charlotte, welcome to your first Culturemeet meeting. It's really good that you join us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Charlotte May, and along with my colleague Stephanie Tristram, we are the people who are delivering the Heritage Learning Programme at the University of Nottingham. So this Heritage Learning Programme is across the museum and also manuscripts and special collections. So I'm aware that people are probably more familiar with the museum, which is an archaeology museum at its heart, from prehistory to the modern day. But us at manuscripts and special collections, we've got 3.5 million items, ranging from sort of medieval beautiful manuscripts to the history of the MRI in Nottingham. So in short, we're a programme that is completely free, including we cost towards travel for schools that are marked as widening participation. So if your school is under that eligibility criteria, then we can absolutely work with you. If you're not sure you need any support, please do just drop us a line, and I'll put our group email, mine and Steph's, in the chat as well, so you can contact us. In terms of how new we are, we've only been running I won't say a few weeks really. We are still getting our website up to date, and we are developing resources. So this is the perfect time for us to work with schools. We really want to know what you want to know. You know, where are those gaps? Where do you need support? A real asset that we have as well is the fact that our 3.5 million items, manuscripts, pretty much cover the whole county. There is not a school that we can't kind of work with in terms of offering a new perspective on local history, particularly if you want to find out more about the area that your school is in and kind of make those geographic connections. But with regards to the museum as well, there are cross-curricular packages being developed by Stephanie for the Romans, for example, bit of kind of code breaking and making sure that when we are doing anything along the lines of history, which is why we've called it heritage, it is actually cross-curricular by nature. So we're not pigeonholing anything. Everything that we do is adaptable across Key Stage 1 and 2 curricula. So yes, I want to tell you loads of things about that are kind of buzzing around our heads because it's quite exciting. We can be really blue sky at the moment and think about what we want to achieve. Working with schools is key. If you would like to bring your school to see either the museum or to have a workshop with manuscripts and special collections, we absolutely would like to hear from you. If there is a date and a time, we can be flexible. We are just at the moment of this kind of finding our feet stage, which is quite exciting. In terms of things that are ready to go, like I said, we've got Romans, we've got World War I, we've got beautiful kind of replicas and resources created that were created for the centenary celebrations. We have Florence Nightingale as well. So if you are looking at Florence, we have full kits from dressing up to Florence Nightingale dolls and books and information about nursing to cover the medical humanities. And Yeah, sorry, I've just got distracted remembering all the cool Florence Nightingale stuff. Also, we've got the exhibition on at the Western Gallery at Lakeside. So I know that Rachel, bizarrely, I haven't met you yet, but I know of you, and I know that Steph has integrated you in what we're doing. So yeah, we would love to invite schools to have a look at the exhibitions in the Western Gallery attached to Lakeside. It's currently Plants and Prayers, a look at kind of alternative medicines through the medieval era onwards, and also at the University Museum as well. So the museum, like I said, has an archaeological focus, but we'll also have an exhibition on bears coming up soon. In fact, that might have started. And then we've got another one on the caves of Nottingham as well, so a small scale one coming up too. So again, hopefully a really lovely focus on local history, cross curricular, free programme including travel costs for local schools that fit the widening participation eligibility criteria. And in short, we just really want to hear from you. So I'll pop our email in the chat box, and yeah, please get in touch.
Amazing. Are there any questions for Charlotte from anyone? Could be from an arts organisation too, as well as a teacher. Presumably you're open to collaborating with other arts organisations as well, Charlotte.
100%. So one thing that I'd really like to do is ensure that what we're doing is kind of supporting other people who are working with the same schools that we're targeting. Particularly, for example, we've got the medieval Wollaton antiphonal, so that beautiful music book. I'm thinking when Liz was talking, I was thinking, this idea of kind of reimagining music, and kind of we've got historic items that support that kind of research. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, and like I said, collaboration is key to everything we want to achieve. So please get in touch.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Fantastic. I'm going to ask if Ishmael will be next, if that's okay. Ishmael from Historic England.
Hi, yes, hi everybody.
Hi.
Apologies, I couldn't say hello at the beginning because I couldn't hear anybody. But went back out and came back in, so I'm here. Yeah, I'm Ismail from Historic England. I came to it was my first session last time, so I'll just, for those of you who aren't there, I've got a project called the Heritage Schools Programme, and we work with schools to help them to embed their local story into their curriculum. I'd like to get something started in Nottingham. I've come over to see Charlotte, so nice to see you again, Charlotte, and Stephanie. So I'm trying to get something started, doing something there. The definites at the moment, I'm working with Century of Change. We've got a CPD session next week at Rufford Mill. So those of you in the north of the county, be more appropriate for them. We're looking at how to, again, use your local heritage throughout the curriculum. It's not just me doing it. We've got various different things. We've got a great workshop by the Young Uns, which is their BBC Radio 2 folk music winners. The Young Uns are. They're fantastic at working with children, and what they do is they talk with the children about their local history and their heritage, and then they come up with these fantastic ideas about how to write some music and come up with a folk song about their local history and heritage. So we've got them as well, and even if you just came and saw them, that would definitely be worth it. Then I'll be there presenting as well, and we've got something. We've got representatives from various local history museums, a storytelling workshop, and then looking at where we can go from there, because this was supposed to be like a kind of introduction, and then when we've got some schools together, we can embed that work going into the next academic year, really. So if you're in the north, it's on the 18th of May, and I'll send the flyer over, so you've all got it. And if you want to, sign up for that, that would be fantastic. And if there's anything else coming up, I will send them through to Kathy. So hopefully you'll all get them. But for me, that's about it for now. But it's nice to meet everybody anyway.
Thanks, Ismail. And I'll certainly, if you send that through, and I'll share with Vanessa Oxburn, who runs the Captivate partnership, the local cultural educational partnership for Mansfield and Ashfield. because
Great.
then she's got a group of schools that are in the north of the county. So that's
Oh,
great.
brilliant. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Thanks, Kathy.
Fab. So, can I ask Sandra from Nottingham Contemporary to give us an update next, please?
Hi everyone, apologies I was a little bit late so didn't introduce myself earlier. If I've not met you before, I'm Sandra from Nottingham Contemporary and I'm the learning schools programmer here. So a few things to share. I've got some links that I'll post into the chat as well as my email address. So we've got our new exhibition coming up, summer exhibition, which has 3 really varied and different exhibiting artists, but also sort of have this thread about sharing stories and connection in society. So there's a huge link to well-being. We've got a Zimbabwean artist who it's her first time having a solo exhibition, and it's very much based in sort of quite sensitive issues, but linked to clothing and sustainability as well, and sort of passing through generations. So we've also got a British artist called Abbas Sahedi, and there's quite a medical context, but it's also looking at how society is a support system. So thinking about in terms of schools resources and having school groups in, there's some really lovely prompts that our artists are developing in terms of schools resources for just conversations around how we connect with each other, how we support each other, and just some really great open conversations. And then our third artist is an artist called Eva Kostakova, who is from Prague, and this exhibition is sorry about my emails being really loud. So Ava is working with our learning and exhibitions team, and is a really sort of playful exhibition which has a separate gallery, and this exhibition is has already worked with Seeley Primary Schools, so sort of inviting schools to share stories, and a lot of sort of textured sculptures and installations around sort of storytelling, but inviting stories, so sort of linked to Year of the Story in Nottingham as well. So a really nice opportunity for school groups to come in and share those stories and have those prompts, and lots of conversation prompts as well around sharing those stories. So there's going to be a huge giraffe sculpture in one of the galleries, which I think will be, you know, alone for the children would be quite a good story prompt, and then the separate gallery where it can be really interactive. So yeah, so I can share our schools brochure, which we continue with our self-led free visits where school groups can come and use the resources that our associate artists develop, and also our artist-led workshops. So I can put my email address in the chat box if schools are interested in coming and having a bespoke 2-hour workshop session with one of our artists, which sort of builds on some of those ideas and explores the galleries as well. So linked to that, we have on the 8th of June, again, I'll put the link in the booking link in the chat box. There's a teacher CPD session on a Thursday, and it's from 4:30 till 6 o'clock, and that's just a really good opportunity to come and preview the exhibition, but also become familiar with the resources, so teachers sort of can build that confidence with interacting with the exhibitions, using the resources, and asking any questions, coming and meeting the team, getting to know the artists. So one of our associate artists will lead the session, and also really nice opportunity, I think, to have some conversations around these ideas of connection and supporting each other and storytelling. So hopefully it'll be a nice session where we can share the exhibition and resources, but also take ideas and from teachers as well, and work together. So that's on the 8th of June, and then over the holidays, so in half term there'll be our more for schools wanted to share with parents are family activities. So there's always free activities in our space linked to the exhibitions, which are free. I think I've said that the third time. I'll put the link in, but it's they're free, but now we do ask to just book ahead, just so that we can sort of manage people, the numbers of people coming. So a few things sort of linked to that. I'll put in information about the exhibitions as well, because I know it's just a short slot to sort of really give an insight to the exhibitions, but very varied, very sort of lots of mixed media and lots of interactive resources as well.
Thanks, Andrea. That's great. It's really good to hear from you, and I hope we get some interest for the 8th of June too.
Yeah,
so
there's a few we've done. There's a few spaces left, so if you wanted to share, I'll put the link in and my email as well if anybody's got any questions.
Thank you. That's brilliant. I'm going to come next to somebody that's sitting next to me, Sarah, and then Shanine, and then Rick, if that's okay. So Sarah is here next to me. And I'm going to just share a PowerPoint that's just provided as well. So if you want to kick off, and I'll...
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Rosehill School. It's a specialist school for children with significant autism, and we are part of the Nottingham Creative Collaboratives. We pride ourselves on our creativity and going to see art galleries and what have you. So inspired by the exhibition that's at Wollaton Hall, we gave our children some cameras, some iPads, and asked them to look for colour and pattern in their environment, but the brief was up close. And these are some of the images that our children managed to create. And they loved it. It was just really, it was good fun, and they got a real sense of achievement out of it. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to open up an opportunity to all Nottingham City schools for you to do the same. So to give your children an iPad, get them to use the brief up close, colour and pattern, and just see what they come up with. If you would then like to send me 10 of your favourite photographs that the children have created, we are going to, Kathy and I are going to have a look and pick some that will be exhibited on the Challenge website and also at the Nottingham Playhouse. So it's quite a good inspiration there for you to have a go at doing it. So I guess we'll put my email in the chat.
We can.
So any schools fancy doing that? It's a nice sort of half-hour activity. It's not too arduous for you, and honestly, you'll get some amazing results. And it's just so lovely to see what the children see from their point of view.
Did everyone see the pictures then?
No, I think we've just lost the pictures, Kathy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, something to start with.
Did you see it at all? Did it come up and then disappear?
Initially. As it's just my screen, I'm the only one who's missing out.
No, it flashed up and then disappeared.
Yeah, it wasn't just me.
Okay,
Thanks.
let me just see if I can try one more time. Okay.
That's looking promising. Oh, hang on.
Not that one. Not that one. Sorry. Give me 2 ticks.
Sorry.
Because it is really good when you can see some examples. They're brilliant.
It was well described, but
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even better when you can see what they've done. Can you see them now?
Not yet.
Okay. I'll have to send this around to you then, I think. Sorry about that, guys. It's there, but I'm not sure why it's not working. Are you back to us? Can you see us now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll send them around. I don't know why that didn't work. It did all the right things.
It's looking each other the deadline.
Yes. So the deadline is the 24th of May. So if you ask your children to go out and send us back the 10 best that you choose, and we'll get up an exhibition, and it'll be we'll also display them at the Creativity Collaboratives Inset Day, which will be for 12 schools and all of their staff in September. as part of a workshop that we're doing and a whole day of creativity in Nottingham. So that'd be brilliant. Thank you. Now, I'd also like to see, is Shanine still here? Shanine, could you give an update on Diversify Education and what you've been doing lately and what's available for teachers in primaries?
Hi everybody, good afternoon. I'm not sure you can see me.
Yeah, okay.
See you, yeah. We're Diversify Education, in case anyone has not heard of us before. We're an organization based on celebrating culture and bringing communities together. We've recently acquired the Beach Hill Community Centre, so that will be our permanent base from now on, and we're planning to run a number of projects from the centre. One of the first projects that we will be running is a steel band group for young people, and we've trialed it with a local primary school, Glenbrook Spencer Academy, and they've been doing fantastic. So what we're going to do is get the children to start coming into the centre and learning to play the steel band, especially with the Windrush anniversary coming up next month of 75 years, see if we can get them to play together as a band. So, you know, we had a few year 3s and 4s came down in March because we did a little, I can't really say too much about it, but we did a little promo event and they got to play the steel bands, and literally I taught them within the space of 5 minutes and they did really well, and you shall see videos of that quite soon. Should be coming out on ITV, so that was great. So we're hoping to do other projects here. We will be having like a African and Caribbean display as well, with music, hair, food, books, dress up, and that will also be available for schools to loan out as well. We have been doing this before, but we have a few schools that utilize that the resources, but I guess now that we have a base, you can actually come in and see how they're set up, and, you know, be able to touch and decide, is this for me, is this for my class, etc. And we can be able to add more to those resources as well. Apart from that, what I can say is that we are sending out our newsletter today, which has a lot of information of projects that we have coming up. I did mention Windrush. We have got a Windrush celebration, and we'd love to have a lot of input from schools if that's possible, whether it be singing or poetry or something like that. It will be really great to have that input. We're also creating a cultural community garden, where we're planning to install at least 30 raised beds, and the aim is to grow a variety of cultural foods, so be it callaloo from the Caribbean, or, you know, different herbs and fruits, flowers, etc. Not flowers, we're kind of sticking to food. That would be great if we can have some input from the schools as well. We're also working with Zoe Cook. I don't know if many of you know Zoe, who lost her son Byron to knife crime in, I can't remember whether it was 2 years ago, July. Yes, 2 years ago, July. We're working with Zoe to create a sanctuary garden in memory of Byron, and also to raise awareness of knife crime. Again, we would love to have schools input in creating that garden and messages that can be placed in that garden as well. So yeah, it's quite a lot. But if anyone would like to have a copy of our newsletter, I'm more than happy to send it out, which has got much more information and details of our previous projects as well. Thank you. Hope I've stayed within the time.
Yeah.
Janine, can I just ask, where is the community garden going to be located?
It will be in the Beach Hill Community Centre. So we're really fortunate to have quite a lot of land space around. So we'll be using the top end for the sanctuary garden, and the right side of the community centre, we will be using that to create the cultural community garden. And we want it to be intergenerational as well, because we know that our older generation have a lot of stories to share, maybe from their growing up, you know, that the children can engage in, and just learn about different, you know, foods from different cultures and stuff like that.
Shane, can you put your email in the chat, babe? Sorry.
Yeah, of course, I'll be happy to do that. I'll just, you know, it's gone frozen on me. Sorry, what did you say, Kathy?
Beechdale Community Centre, is that the Bilborough ward?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just checking. Thought so. Brilliant. So thank you so much for sharing. I know you're super busy and there's so much going on there to set up now that you've got the keys. It's really exciting to see all the things that you're doing.
I forgot to mention, we have set up a community cafe as well, in the centre. So if anyone wants to pop in and you know, have a look around, meet us, please feel free to do that. And again, we would love to have the input of the children, you know, from any angle. We have been working with the schools around the area, but we would definitely love to open up to other schools as well. So I'm going to leave my email. Feel free to get in touch. We can also loan out the steel pans as well. They're very easy to set up and they're not heavy. They are very child friendly.
Excellent. Thank you. Last but not least, I'm going to come to Rick to give us a quick update about various things.
Well, maybe, yes. Because I think as summer is coming up, it's an opportunity to enrich and refresh our own cultural contacts and connections, as well as those for children as well. So I have noted that, well, of course, apart from the Eurovision Song Contest this weekend, which obviously I hope we're all celebrating, got our sweepstake names ready. In a couple of weeks' time, the 26th of May, there's the Poetry Festival, Nottingham Poetry Festival. And I think, although they may not have too much outreach for schools and so on, I think if you go onto the various websites, you'll find where you can make the links and connections. I did the Poetry Festival last year, and I had a poem specially written for me, which was lovely. So you can go down and somebody will write you a poem about yourself. And then on the 2nd and 3rd of June, we've got the Green Hustle, which will be happening in the Market Square. And again, those of you with interests and connections to the environment, to forest school, to community gardens, get yourself down to the Market Square to check out the Green Hustle. And then, of course, the other thing that Kathy knows better that's coming up over the summer are all of the local community arts festivals. So certainly in beginning of July, there's the Bulwell Arts Festival starting on the 1st of July. And that's always a highlight for me, because you can enter the Bulwell boat race, make your own model boats and sail them down the River Leen. So check out news about the Bulwell Arts Festival. There'll be the Bilborough Arts Festival,
the Bilborough Arts Festival,
Sherwood,
Wollaton,
yeah. So that's news about all of those. And then my last thing is I'm not sure that I can involve all of the schools yet, but I'm doing a project for myself this year based on this book, which is Bluebell Hill Games, which is a collection of playground games and rhymes that was collected 40 years ago. This is the 40th anniversary of both the book and a film that was made by Central Television. And the head teacher at the time in Bluebell Hill went out and collected all of the playground games and the rhymes and the two ball and the how to count who was in and skipping games and so on. And I'm looking to update it. I'm looking to see if we can collect what's in the playground, what's happening in the playground these days, what's the rhymes and so on. So we'll keep you posted on that. I've got a meeting with Bluebell Hill hopefully next week, and then we'll see how we can widen it out to involve other schools as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So if you go to the challenge website, which is just challengenottingham.co.uk, you'll see a couple of things related to what Rick's just been talking about. One is the digital schools pack for Green Hustle. They've put together some resources called School of Fish, all around marine conservation. So have a look at that for primaries. And also we've got a current opportunity for a community researcher to look at scoping some of the activities that schools can do around celebrating heritage and language. So specifically language, with 2 academics from both universities supporting that 6-week placement. So please have a look, download it, share it with colleagues and those you might think are interested to apply. Again, the deadline's coming up at the 23rd or 4th of May. Brilliant. So a few things that we've shared a lot. That's a lot of information. I hope your head's not spinning. I'm going to have a quick try and just see if I can share my screen one last time, just to check that I've covered all the things that I needed to cover. Martin, was there anything you wanted to add from a Culture Rucksack point of view, or from your own sort of things that you've got going on, while I just fiddle trying to share my screen?
That's okay. No, nothing in particular, other than the fact we're getting close to launching the handbook. Yeah. That's been years in the making, isn't it? So my goodness me, I'll be cracking open a few bottles of champagne when that's finally produced. So that'll be with you, we hope, June time, Kathy?
Yes, at the end of June.
Excellent. And then the only other thing I've been working on, I know you'll be doing something with the providers at the next operations group meeting, is just trying to raise the profile of the learning outside the classroom quality badge. Yeah. Some schools might well be aware of it, some of your providers might be aware of it. It's a badge that's been promoted for a number of years now, was originally actually still referenced actually by the Department for Education. So that when schools are making visits to locations, you as schools know that they've all got the right levels of insurance, but also more importantly than all the health and safety and stuff like that, that you're working with people who are really interested in those educational outcomes and a quality experience. So we're trying to promote that amongst our city providers, so that schools and city know that all those checks have been made and that they're going to get a high quality experience. So we're just really beginning to do some work on that. I know you've got a meeting, haven't you, Kathy, with the ops group sometime this month, and again Andy Taylor, who runs that particular programme for the Council for Learning Outside the Classroom, putting a short presentation there. So just beginning to early days to raise the flag on that. Yeah,
I think I've mentioned here. Can you see this? Can you see the PowerPoint slide at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sharing 2 dates actually as an invitation for some education representatives to join some of the challenge governance structures, because we have 2 regular meetings. They just meet 4 or 5 times a year, our steering group, and we're going to be opening out for new members for the steering group at the end of this month, and also our operations group, which is generally meets 4 or 5 times a year and has representatives from our arts organisations that come together and look at how they can collaborate more. But actually it would be so brilliant to have some more education representatives at the operations group, so that those conversations include you in person. And we can have more group discussions, because although these culture meets are great and it's a brilliant opportunity for you to hear and put a face to the name and hear about things that are upcoming, the operations group is where we can think a little bit more long term and strategically, and it would be really good to have some teachers and head teachers and enrichment leads from various multi-academy trusts and things within the governance structures. So I've put my email there as well if you'd like to get in touch, and and have an interest in joining us. They're usually quite, you know, near the end of the day, so come along if you can. The other thing that I just would love to share with you all is that we're really delighted to be working on a free summer arts programme over the summer holidays with Nottingham Playhouse as lead partners, but a whole host of arts organisations and venues in the city this summer holiday. And I've put together a family survey for parents and children to tell us about the things that they'd most like to see, what kind of art forms they're most interested in, and I've put the link there that I'll again add in the chat. It's gone out into our e-newsletter, so you might see it there if you have our challenge e-newsletter that comes out every other month. I can send you posters to put up in classrooms, or you know, when parents come and collect their children, if you could put some on windows and doors, that would be fantastic, because it would be brilliant for them to just scan the QR code and quickly just fill out a family survey. So we get a lot of representation from across the city, because it will genuinely help the programming that we're putting together for the for this summer. So yeah, please do, if you can, if you have a means through your parent channels to share the family survey, please do.
Kathy, I've got to go because my battery's about to die and being kicked out.
Okay.
It's a problem. Is this my last primary culture meet?
Will this be your last one?
Yeah.
Oh, Martin, that's incredible.
Oh.
Well, we're going to meet in person soon, hopefully, because we have a launch date for the wall planner where we'll be giving out next year's wall planners and the directory. So we will celebrate you properly then. But thank you so much for all you've been doing and all you do.
It's my pleasure. It's been great to meet people. Great to see lots of new faces as well coming into this particular groups of meetings, which I think are really, really valuable. So thanks ever so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Okay, cheers, guys.
Bye. Are there any questions for anyone else that's here at the moment? Or if not, I think we can end a little early. No?
Amazing.
Okay. That's great.
Thanks,
well, thank
Kathy.
you all so much for coming and sharing. It's great to stick to an hour. That's great. So thanks very much. And
thanks, guys. Take care.
And I'll see you soon.
Nice
Take
to
care.
meet you.
Bye.
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 Bye.